I think I was 16 or 17 at a party at school, and I was drunk, and a couple of guys just came and jumped me and just started unloading on my face.
Jesus.
That sounds very dodgy. They punched me in the face many, many times.
Dodged the bullet there.
You can edit that, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to though.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So a couple of guys unloaded on my face many, many times. So I just got like they broke my nose and everything. And I didn't like that feeling of, it wasn't like helplessness, but I didn't feel like I'd been in control of that situation.
How are you, man?
I'm good.
Yeah. Did you watch the fight this morning?
I did not, but I've seen Francis Ngannou absolutely spark Stipe, which was surprising.
Yeah. He slept him, didn't he?
It looked pretty brutal.
Yeah. It was rotten. Like it was. Why would you get into the ring with that fella?
Well, he's done it before and he's won.
Yeah, true. But I think Stipe was a lot lighter this time around, wasn't he?
Yeah, he looked small.
Yeah. It's like, why would you get in small against that fella?
Most people would look small next to Ngannou, though, wouldn't they?
That is true. We'll get into stepping into the combat sport arena. But yeah, I as I said, I just wanted to find out. Tell me about young David Uwe. David Wee. I know. Yeah, how long now? 2 years? Still can't pronounce your second name.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all right. Calm down, Peter. Wrong.
Yeah.
What was young David like? I was a pretty boring child, to be very honest. I was terrible at football, terrible at ball sports in general. So my parents started out, they put me in gymnastics because mum was a gymnast when she was younger. And turns out I was also terrible at gymnastics. And then it transpired that my godfather had done a bit of judo when he was younger. So Dad thought, oh, let's give David a go at that. I took up judo. Looking back on it, I don't think I was very good at it as a child, but I think the combination of doing judo, I did judo for 5 years and won some medals, but they're not important because I was 8.
They're the most important ones.
Yeah, the most important ones. The trophies were better. There's like trophies that were the size of me. But,
yeah.
But I think what happened with being able to do judo at that age, and I did it till I was about 14. And I think that doing something where you're going at it like full force with someone else going at it full force, and I found that doing that and going through puberty at the same time, I think that's probably helped physical development quite a bit. So
it's a good thing you're still going through puberty then, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't wait till my voice breaks.
But at least that gave you an avenue to take out your anger that you couldn't play any ball sports with the other kids. So you just took it out on them.
Well, I stopped playing. I stopped doing judo with the hopes of becoming a professional footballer, which was just the most misguided 14-year-old thing that a 14-year-old could do. So yeah, that's.
And then after the 14-year-old you gave up the judo, but then when did you get back into it, or when did you get back into the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and stuff?
So how old was I? I think I was 16 or 17 at a party at school, and I was drunk, and a couple of guys just came and jumped me and just started unloading on my face.
Jesus.
that sounds very dodgy. They punched me in the face many, many times.
Dodged
yeah,
the
so
bullet there.
you can edit that, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to though.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So a couple of guys unloaded on my face many, many times. So I just got like they broke my nose and everything. And I didn't like that feeling of, it wasn't like helplessness, but I didn't feel like I'd been in control of that situation. And what any, smart person would have done then is, go and learn how to fight.
Yeah.
I watched Rocky and purchased a heavy bag and some wraps for my hands. I thought gloves made you, like, if you wore gloves, you were a pussy. If you wore the wraps, it was just to protect the skin of your knuckles.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So sometimes I just unload on the bag like bare knuckled and I'd cut the skin off. So I was like, oh, maybe the wraps are just to, so I got really good at swinging a heavy bag.
Yeah.
And then actually, like, through a bit of a stroke of luck, actually, and like my leavers week of sixth form, the school brought in the people who I did judo with to give like a little self-defense seminar. So I got to say hi to everyone that like I remembered, and then I thought, I might as well go and learn some MMA. So I called my old judo instructor and was like, I see you offer MMA classes now. And he was like, yep, just come in. So I go in knowing absolutely nothing about what to expect. I think I didn't really even watch UFC back then. I'd watched Never Back Down.
Yeah. Well, that's as real as you're going to get.
It is as real as you're going to get. And I just showed up and it was a jiu-jitsu class. And I was just I was pretty hooked. Like, the first time you do something like that and you're like, whoa, that was really tiring. I must have gotten the best workout here. That must be the most amazing. And you adapt. But on the Never Back Down thing, someone in that class put me in a triangle, and there's a scene in Never Back Down where he gets put in a triangle and then slammed onto a car.
Yeah.
So I picked the guy up and then
tried to slam him.
I didn't try to slam him. People were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Put me down.
Yeah. But that was fortunate. So then, yeah, that's how I got into jiu-jitsu.
And then when did you realize you were good at it? When did you realize, like, fuck, I'm pretty good at this? The other day, I suppose.
That was I kind of have that realization. I've had it a few times, and it's always been followed by, actually, I'm not very good at this.
Well, you must have felt it when you were rolling with me. It's like, Jesus, this guy's pathetic.
Yeah, for sure. That is a day I'll never forget. That day in November 2019.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, so a lot of the times, actually, I've had times where I've realized, I've realized it when I wasn't even doing it. I was at a judo competition at university, and someone who was there, like, I'd competed quite a bit by then, but I wasn't. I think I'd like injured my ankle or something. I couldn't compete. But someone who was competing that day, who wasn't very good, but he went up to my coach, who was standing next to me, and he's like, "Oh, he felt really strong." And my coach was just like, "Yeah, he probably did, but do you know what? Like, he's also never really gone up against someone who's trying to like throw him on the floor really hard. You felt just as strong to him." And I when I like started seeing it like that, I was like, "Well, yeah, I probably did." And then I've like, I've spoken to people, and they say that like they don't like when I'm trying to ragdoll them. So I figured maybe that means I'm not weak. And then I've obviously trained with some very good people. over the years, and there have been times. So I remember like the first time I caught some certain people in submissions. I thought, well, that's pretty
Significant.
like, yeah, that's pretty significant. My old coach Dan Strauss in England. There was a point in time where I was maybe past his guard for a second and a half before he got it back and strangled me. That was a significant moment for me. So yeah, there's you have those moments, but then like 2 weeks ago I got absolutely manhandled at training, and it's not, and you come out of that, you think you're terrible. So
but you've had two very
waves.
very significant events in the last week that have probably told you otherwise. Maybe getting manhandled in training was a good thing 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely. But it's never fun at the time, and you're just knackered afterwards. But
let's go on to the fight, or the match that you had.
Can't call it a fight because some MMA people get upset.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no punching involved.
Jeez, I nearly
not a fight.
Nearly got in trouble.
Not a fight. It's a match. It's a match. Okay,
yeah.
God.
But I watched it on Instagram Live, and you seemed to like from my uneducated point of view, it seemed like you dominated. Now I know that you're probably going to say that from like you can be on top and not dominate.
I executed exactly as I had hoped. My opponent Rahul was he's very tough, so I knew it'd be tough to finish him. I had some pretty solid chokes like on him as well, and then obviously your listeners will have done their research and watched.
Hopefully.
I ended up submitting him with an American lock, but I had to put it on pretty deep, and I felt some things tear.
That guy's limbs are made of rubber or something. Like, what would you tap out, buddy? Jesus.
Yeah, no, it was. I had to tell the ref, like, I'm gonna break this if you don't stop it. He's like, if he dies, he dies.
He was watching Rocky recently as well.
He was, yeah. So yeah, I executed as I planned, and I'd done a lot of work on executing it way as it went, as the beginning of the fight went. But then obviously when the chokes didn't sink in, I had to adapt. But
what does it feel like popping like all that shit?
So that's the first time I've like put a submission on that hard.
Yeah.
Which, when I've been training for 13 years, is a bit odd, really.
It's a good thing though, to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite proud of the fact that I don't injure training partners and stuff. But it felt it felt weird. Like you like, because you feel it go a bit, and then you feel it go a bit more, and then I felt it completely dislocate.
Oh my God.
And then it went back in. So I'm not inexperienced with that, but so like I've done like sport first aid trauma and stuff. So I've done the other side of it. I've helped put shoulders and stuff back in. So it feels weird that way.
Doing the opposite,
on the opposite side of it.
But
it was quite.
And like I just didn't like, you were like screaming medic, and then he just stood up with you. Like
So I've watched it back. It looked like the elbow went like popped back in, and I guess that makes it hurt a lot less. So I can understand, but I got some hate online for shouting for the medic.
Really?
Yeah.
Like just trolling, or like people just being
Uh,
like,
well, it was on Reddit, so it's anonymous, and it was just people
oh,
saying, "You
yeah.
look like a douchebag," calling for the medic, and I said, I'd do it again.
And I do it again.
Yeah.
You're dead right
Uh,
though. Like you have to, like that's the, like you have the level of respect for your opponent as well. Like you don't want
yeah,
them to be
absolutely.
seriously injured. Like so, it's
Yeah,
only
of
it's
course.
only it's the human thing to call for the
Yeah.
medic. Like they think you're some sort of stone cold killer there by the sounds of things. If they think you're just gonna walk off and do
I don't know.
the
I wore a pretty non-stone cold killer outfit.
yeah, I know, yeah,
If
I
we're
love
very
it.
honest.
I've seen it before. I've seen you wearing it before. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think they want you to be even Drago or something in that situation.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it does, it does.
If you do. I'm well, I'll probably say it. They're trying to line me up with the national wrestling coach here, who is of the Eastern Bloc descent. So I might have to climb a mountain and shout his name.
please make a training montage for it.
Have you seen Ben Askren's video for
No, I
his?
haven't seen it yet. For his
Oh,
boxing
yeah,
match.
he's boxed in what's it?
Jake
Jake
Paul, is
Paul
it?
or
Yeah.
whatever. So he's done a piss take Rocky montage,
Oh,
which
brilliant.
is
I'll have to check that out.
glorious.
Yeah.
Um,
But like what worries me about that fight is we saw him in a stand-up fight essentially, and it was
yeah, we did.
ridiculous.
He was not very good, but you know like if you played football,
Yeah.
if you played football with I don't know who's a very bang average Premiership football. If you played football with Nat Phillips,
Yeah.
right, you would think he's the great. You would think
Yeah.
he's Lionel Messi.
Yeah, exactly.
Because and so I'm hoping that's what kind of happens with Ben Askren there.
Oh man, I hope he beats him so badly, like Jesus.
Yeah.
Just to stop all this craziness that's going on. I know it's good for, what is it good for though? Realistically, like all these YouTube kids fighting each other. Money, is that all? Like,
Yeah, I mean he's got some Bentleys, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll even tune in to that one, to be honest.
I mean, I'll tune in a bit later for free.
Yeah, exactly. I remember being at the who was he fighting when we saw him? Maya, was it?
Oh, Damien Maya,
Yeah. And like
was,
it was just so quiet in the arena because two of them were just like standing up.
yeah.
Like, and I remember
Just
distinctly somebody just shouting, "Somebody do something!"
Yeah. Usually at the UFC events, that's a bit of a dickhead in the crowd, but I very much felt that one was warranted.
Well, I thought that was going to be. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be an amazing," and it's like
the best grappling match ever.
Yeah, but the two of them respected each other's grappling so much that they didn't want to get on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yeah, we'll move on to the other significant event that occurred in the last week. You got your black belt, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that one was a bit mad. Yeah, I got it yesterday, so I'm still a bit, because it's a bit weird in jiu-jitsu and stuff. So for reference, so I've also got a black belt in judo, and I think the big difference is when you start jiu-jitsu, you feel you're a white belt and you go with a blue belt, and you think, and what the blue belt will do to you, you think there is absolutely no way I could ever do this, like to another, like there's no way I could obtain this level of skill. And so then you see like a black belt just mopping the floor with people who mop the floor with the blue belt and stuff. So it's a bit beyond comprehension about like that you could ever reach that level. And I remember Chance, my coach, when like at one point when I was a blue belt still, he said like, one day you'll be a good black belt, David. And I was like, be really happy if I made a purple belt, like made it to purple sort of thing. And I think, and it kind of like going back to you asking like, when did you like think you were good and stuff? I think it's a bit easier to like see it gradually when you're getting the lower belts, and you get your blue belt, you get your purple belt, you get your brown belt. You're like, okay, cool, I'm at the level. But then but then you think, oh, okay, I've got something left to aim for.
Yep.
Whereas with this is it's just a bit, it's different because you reflect a lot more, because I mean, in the belt grading sense, you've reached the top. And so you just look back. So actually, I just spent a lot of time actually just contacting people who I've trained with like in the past, and my old coaches and stuff, and just thanking them for you know what the different things that they gave me. So like so like one of them was my old judo coach Dave from university, because you know, I think I've obviously spent a lot of time getting pretty rat-assed at uni, but I spent a lot of times on the mat.
Yeah.
And I think without, you know, a coach like Dave who could keep me engaged and made it as enjoyable as he did, I think, you know, that mat time that was very valuable to me would have been gone. So and things like that. So it was just a very, and I'm still reflecting on it like quite a lot. But it's just a much more reflective time rather than looking ahead.
Yeah, well, 100%. But like, it's just it's amazing the way that you reach that pinnacle. I suppose like you're still going to think there's more to achieve in it, but like
Absolutely.
as you said, like you're a bona fide black belt now. That's something pretty cool. Like, do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's written on my Instagram profile, mate. Like,
yeah, 100%. Put it everywhere, right? Get tattooed on your forehead. Oh, hang on a sec, Dave. I think we've lost your connection. Hang on. Give us a go there again. No, can't hear you. No. We'll get you back in a second. Don't worry. I can edit this anyway. It's kind maybe it's just the what do you call it? Oh,
hello?
Yes, got you now.
Yeah, I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
IT professional, mate.
Exactly. Go on. Anyway.
Yeah, so I've made my watch look like a black belt because I'm a twat.
Yeah, I mean, which you've got to do it.
I'm the worst kind of human. But I'd say you're allowed to do that when you're a black belt. If you see someone who there's the jokes about purple belts and stuff where everything they wear is purple, and no, that's not cool.
No, it's not cool because you haven't got to the top yet. But the way that was that your coach presented to you, like the way he presented to you as well was class. Like,
oh, he tricked me.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that been done before. I've only seen like it's kind of like they call everybody in like a ceremony nearly, like for a black belt.
So he sends me a text on Wednesday like, Dave, I've got some work stuff on. I can't teach on Saturday. Can you cover class? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I cover class, and then we were doing work, and then like we were positional sparring, and then I'd forgotten my belt. I'd forgotten to bring my brown belt in, so it was quite handy. But then he just sort of walks in and he's in his gi, and I was like, what's going on? And then he tells me, he's like I was mid-roll as well. So he's like, what the fuck are you doing there, David? That's all wrong. Come on, let's. And then, so in the full video, like I do a little backward roll and stay on the mat, like on the floor, like waiting for technical instruction. And then he picks me up and he's like, where's your belt? I'm like, oh, I forgot that. He's like, oh, well, that's handy. And pulls out the black belt. And then, and I was like, oh.
And the crowd goes wild.
And the crowd goes wild, yeah. But wasn't a big crowd. we've got space limitations because of COVID now, mate.
Oh yeah, I know. It was in Move to Live though, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Could have been dozens of people instead of dozen.
Yeah, exactly. But a question that I just think would be an interesting one is, obviously you're doing a lot of coaching and teaching and Move to Live.
Yeah.
How much does that contribute to getting the black belt, do you reckon?
I think it's helped me a lot. It's the teaching has helped me a lot in just getting technically better. There are some drawbacks to coaching as much, but I think it's told quite often, but basically if you can teach something, then you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'll be better at doing it. So yeah, I think that teaching just helps in that regard. And then it also, some of the ways it helps is actually we're fortunate we've got some fairly talented people there as well, like just naturally gifted athletes. And so actually it can show you what you're doing wrong as well, because if I demonstrate something wrong and the really talented guy does it wrong, I can see what I've been doing wrong. Like so that's handy. I think just I think so the other thing that Chance said is that I'd had a conversation with him a couple of months ago about the fact that I think I wouldn't say taken a lot, but I've gained a lot from jiu-jitsu. It's helped me like grow as a person, and not just to strangle and break arms and stuff. And I told him like a big part of what my old coach Dave, who mentioned earlier, he impressed on me that you should give back when you can. And I think I've accepted it. Like I'm at the point now where I think I've got things to give back to people who can get out of it as much as they want, because it doesn't have to be what I've gotten out of it, because maybe they don't love it as much as I do, and that's fine. But if you want something out of it, I'm here to try and help you get it out of it. So yeah, I think that's been a big help as well.
100%. But definitely from my few experiences in there, and from what you've just said, like you've gained so much from it, not just in terms of from the sport, but as a human being, I guess, to be real sentimental and soft and stupid. But it should be something that everybody does. Well, most people anyway, like, because it humbles you, as you said.
It does, yeah. Oh, absolutely humbles me. I think, yes, I think in some respects everyone should try it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should know like what it's like. But I also totally get that there are just people out there who really like their personal space.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about I really don't give a shit about my personal space.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have sweaty men in tight clothing just shove their bellies in my face.
Yeah. Or
you can edit that part out, right?
Again, I'll be leaving it in. Or I'll be just snipping it and taking all these bits and throwing them together. Yeah. People unloading. A couple of guys unloading on my face. On top of you. Yeah. But yeah, like from
like but I think it's just I think it's humbling, but it's I think it's just like quite meditative as well. I think it's a very so they say that it's hard to meditate, it's hard to focus on nothing. The first thing you want to do when you meditate is focus on one thing. And the easiest way to focus on one thing is to have someone directly in front of you, is to have one thing in front of you trying to rip your arm off. So I think that I find that very helpful. So after I've trained, good little reset. And I wouldn't say I had, well, maybe I had like slight anger management issues before I started doing jiu-jitsu. And I mean, I'm not saying I never get angry now, but just a lot more chilled out because of it. Which I like, because again, most things don't sit as bad as having a man just shove their knee into your neck and try and strangle you with it.
The funny thing about you saying that as well is like these guys are trying to strangle you and dislocate your limbs from your body and stuff. But then even from, as I said, from my brief kind of encounters, you develop like this weird kind of bond with the people that you're rolling with immediantly. You might not know them at all. Like, absolutely.
But especially if you're training with them, because there's like, it's a very, you're not you say you're trying to like dislocate bones and stuff, but you also get on there and you trust the person not to, if it comes to it, like and they trust you not to, and there's like that just implicit bond, which I like. And it's like I've had that. I've gotten a bond like that with people who I haven't rolled with, but we both know that, okay, cool, we've both done jiu-jitsu, we both competed at a certain level, and so that sort of understand, I think that's really helpful. But there's nothing weirder than your jiu-jitsu friends. You never mix your jiu-jitsu. You don't mix your jiu-jitsu friends. Don't mix your jiu-jitsu friends with your real friends.
Don't call them not your real friends, mate. They'll be listening to this. They're not going to like this.
You sure people are going to be listening to this, Pete?
Yeah, maybe not.
Very optimistic.
Yeah. But definitely. Like it's a strange one. In terms of a pursuit though, so obviously you have the purist type gi, and then you have no gi. And kind of no gi is fucking huge in the last few years. Like it's really taken off. Do you ever think that MMA will envelop jiu-jitsu, or are the purists always going to stay there doing it, and there's always going to be people going to the purest form of the sport?
Are you asking like for me personally, or
not? What do you think? Like just your opinion. What do you think in the next few years? Because
would I pursue MMA or
no? That's not what I'm asking. But I'll ask you that now. But afterwards. But
is it like, so? Do I think like MMA will?
Like MMA is obviously so popular now, like huge. People that don't watch any other combat sports watch it. So what I want to know is, you said you actually went to MMA training or whatever when you were 17. Is it ever going to be like, because there's lots of jiu-jitsu around all over the place. Are they going to become enveloped by MMA eventually? Because we're only at the, like, I know that the UFC has been around since 1990s, like, but it's really fucking breaking ground now. Like it's only punching through the ceiling at the moment. It's huge.
I think that it'll be tough for MMA like to have the number of people competing in MMA that jiu-jitsu has. I just think there's too many barriers to it, and I just think as well that for the majority of people who do just jiu-jitsu or just Muay Thai or boxing, that the switch into MMA and the roundedness that you'd need to have is just less fun. It's just like you take a your typical jiu-jitsu person and you punch them in the face a couple of times, they're not going to like it. At the same time, you take your standard boxer or your Muay Thai person, Muay Thai fighter. Don't know.
Yeah.
But you ragdoll them a bit. You put them on their ass, and you try and break their arm. They're not going to enjoy that either. And then, so it takes a lot of. I think it takes a lot of energy and a lot of very good attitude on the participants' behalf that I think would limit it, because it's harder. It's a new skill, and it's hard to go from being good at something to being a beginner.
Yeah. And then the next question then, so will it be hard for you to do so when you step into the...
Nah, mate, Dana White and Sean Shelby are on the blower all the time. I've tried MMA, I've tried boxing, I've tried Muay Thai. It's just, so Muay Thai classes, I don't enjoy Muay Thai classes, because half the time they're making you do push-ups and sit-ups, and I'd much rather learn about how to kick someone in the head.
Yeah. It's much more conducive to learning how to kick somebody in the head as well, rather than doing push-ups and sit-ups, to actually practice the skill.
But and then I've done a lot less boxing, but I've done that a few times. I enjoy the sparring parts of it, which is bad, because in jiu-jitsu and in judo and stuff, it's designed to be safe, so you can pretty much go at each other full whack, and you shouldn't be hurting each other. If you went to boxing every day and you just started wailing on each other, you've just got a load of Parkinson's patients, like, very quickly. So I think the inability to use it as an outlet in that way wouldn't be great for me. I guess you can kick pads and kick a bag and stuff pretty hard, but it's not the same.
No, but so what you're saying basically is, I'm all about the money. When the money comes, I'll do it. Until that point, I'm staying to the bottom of that.
Absolutely, I am all about the money at the moment.
Hey Dana, 60 G's, baby.
60 G's for sure. I wouldn't mind 60 G's.
None of us would. 100%.
But I think at the moment the jiu-jitsu scene in Singapore, I'd be happy with getting paid $60.
Yeah. It's competitive as well, by the sound of things.
Yeah, there's just not much money in it yet. So I've spoken to some people, and they're doing a lot to try and grow the sport here. So I'm very supportive, and I'm happy to lend my time.
Your body.
My body, yeah. I won't be tapping very late though, so maybe not my health.
Yeah. That was what I was going to ask you next then, was because you've said you've tried a load of different martial arts. Which is worse? You can confirm for us now. Which is worse, when you get choked out or when you get knocked out?
I've never been choked out. I've never been knocked out.
Here he goes.
I tap before I go to sleep.
Yeah. You've never went to sleep ever?
No, I've come close once in a competition. I started to go to sleep, and then the guy thought, "Oh, this choke isn't working. I'm going to readjust it." So he lets go. I come to a bit more, and then it becomes really deep. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to tap there." That's and closest I come to being knocked. Well, I haven't really
or knocked down even. Never been knocked down.
Nah, but I remember once, like, I ate a pretty clean punch to the jaw in a boxing sparring session, and like just saw, like, it looked a bit like teletext came down, and then I was like, all right, yeah.
Outside.
Yeah, I would 100% say being knocked out would be worse than going to sleep, for sure.
It's a little bit more humiliating as well, I think.
Yeah,
Because it's a
and
singular action. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot builds up to the choking out. If you get
yeah,
me.
and you know, just headaches.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
You know,
fair. Well, I've had my fair share of them. All right.
yeah,
Concussion is not fun.
no.
So then you've tried all these different martial arts. What martial art that you've not tried are you like, shit, I wish I did that when I was a kid, or I want to do that now or
I
before I
mean,
die?
the martial art I wish I did as a kid is freestyle wrestling, or any form of, you know, Olympic wrestling.
They're beasts.
For sure.
Did you see that video of the guy in the States during the week doing the backflip after he won?
No,
He did,
but
like, he's like in the heavyweight category and he just does like a cartwheel and a backflip. It's like, Jesus.
yeah, they're built different. I think with you know, judo and jiu-jitsu, I think jiu-jitsu you can, and now this is not to say that everyone who does jiu-jitsu is a pussy, but you can start doing jiu-jitsu and you can get good at jiu-jitsu without having to get tough. I think
I get you, yeah.
I think with judo, you would get tougher from doing it, but it wouldn't necessarily make you, like, get you to a threshold of being tough. I don't think you can wrestle without being tough. I think there's, like, you know, the grind that they have to go through. I think there's no way you can do it. In terms of martial arts that I've not done, I quite like the idea of training with weapons, really. So just like, I don't know, maybe some samurai training, or was it Kali is the Filipino one, and then like actual, you know, tactical with a gun training would be quite fun too, I guess.
What's the one tonight? Is that the one you mentioned there? Is that the knife fighting?
Kali,
Yeah.
I don't really know.
There is a
But,
knife fighting out there somewhere. They do. There's a saw a documentary on it on Vice or something.
There's a
down the YouTube rabbit hole.
There's a there's a pretty mad Indian martial art, which someone was telling me about. It's not kabaddi. Kabaddi's pretty fun though.
Oh, it's the best thing ever. I played that with the kids in school, like as warm up, just even the rugby team, and they love it, man. They just go mad for it. Like,
it's such a great, like, you know, just I really like the element where you so for listeners who have no idea, you've basically got like two teams of 6 or 7 people. They're each in their own zones, and then each team takes it in turns to send one person into the other person's zone and try and tag as many people as possible. But if they get wrestled to the floor, they get no points. And to make it absolutely bonkers, you have to do it all in one breath, and the way they test that you're doing it all in one breath is you have to be saying kabaddi, 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 kabaddi the whole time you're doing it.
Like, they can do it for so long as well. Like, it's ridiculous.
I know. So I think that's pretty cool. But apparently there's another Indian martial art where I think I've seen it on like some Discovery Channel documentary where they fight with swords and shields. So that sounds
that's hardcore.
Yeah, and so that like these days apparently it's mainly for entertainment at high-end hotels in India. Not
Hunger Games for the Hunger Games for the rich.
Yeah.
Throw them in. See how they get
exactly.
on.
Exactly.
So then, with all these martial arts, the real question is percentage of the population of men in the world that you walk past and you think, yeah, I could kill you if I wanted to, or I could beat you up. Kill you might be a little bit extreme. Although I do know that that's what you're thinking. You're not thinking, could I beat you up? You're like, I could kill you.
I'd back myself to be top 1%.
Nice.
I think, like,
you are like technically, if you go by percentages,
like if I know 100 people, well, as you know, the thing is, in circles that I hang out with, I'm not Like
Yeah.
I'm not top of the food chain there because
Yeah.
I shouldn't be. I should be trying to get better. But that's not a representative sample of the population. So yeah, I'd back myself to be top 1%.
Nice. But as I said, like
So
with two
the
black
answer is
belts, like
99%.
yeah, sweet. With two black belts, like you can afford to be that
Yeah.
confident realistically. How many times when we were working together on a on a daily basis did you think, oh Pete, shut up, I could literally kill you right now?
There's other people at work who are
They don't give you direct abuse though.
yeah, no longer do I
No
get direct
longer.
abuse.
There's no more sledging in work.
Nah, man, you're a pleasure to work with.
Same to you. You're a gent.
Yes, man.
I'm missing you all now back here, but sure, look, needs must, I suppose.
Yeah.
So then I sent you over the questions that I wanted to go through, and I suppose I'm going to start with the obvious Joe Rogan-esque question of who would win in a fight, a gorilla or a grizzly bear. We've had this conversation before, I think, potentially.
I don't know if we've had this specific one before, but yes, you did send me the questions before, and I did ask. I did mention them to one Oliver Trotman, and we have a severe disagreement. So the answer is a grizzly bear. Absolutely, 100%. Oliver thinks a gorilla would win, and that's because he's absolutely batshit insane. It's like asking who would win a fight between, and I can sort of understand his logic, at the most basic level before, which is that gorillas have muscles and bears look fat. But
you're really not giving him much credit there for how he thinks. But you're right as well as the other thing.
At no point am I. But basically, my thinking is right. Who do I think would win a fight between a really good CrossFitter or Brian Shaw? Yeah, great. You can do loads of muscle ups. Brian Shaw can just pick you up and crush your face.
I like where the angle you're going with that.
That's the same with the bear. So I've because I was arguing with Ollie, so Google got involved. Grizzly bears can actually run faster than gorillas can as well. So they've got speed, they've got strength, they've got size. There's no
teeth as well.
Teeth. They've got claws. So literally one swipe, a gorilla is probably dead. So this is a
I would have been on Ollie's side as well. I would have thought a gorilla, and I would have thought it'd be quick. But you've broke it down well there, I suppose. But send me the video that you've seen of gorillas doing muscle ups, would you?
Mate, they're just hanging on one arm,
doing a wad snatch.
Yeah. Hey, it's not just 21.4 in the boxes, it's 21.4 in the jungle too. All right.
Yeah, fair. Oh, we need it to happen. Eventually it will, hopefully.
What the
gorilla versus grizzly? No, gorilla versus just Peter. Better not find out about it, I suppose. It probably has happened, as you said, in one of those high-end hotels for the rich.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope not. Absolutely not. Definitely don't hope it's ever happened.
International waters, as they did in The Simpsons.
Oh, wait, the gorilla has a knife, you say?
What was the one? He was
the monkey had a knife.
Drederick Tate was fighting a kangaroo in international waters. There was an advertisement for it.
Yeah.
So then next question I have for you is, if you could be one animal, would it be a grizzly bear? If you had to be an animal, what animal would you pick?
It's like having just gone on that large tangent, I probably want to be a gorilla. All right. because as if I'm assuming I have my mind in, so I've still got opposable thumbs, so I can still operate, weaponry, which is what makes me
what scenarios are you getting into as a gorilla? That's the first thing you think is like, oh, well, at least I can still operate weaponry.
Well, the reason humans are top of the food chain
Yeah.
isn't because we're the best at the fighting.
Yeah.
We're the best at throwing spears.
Yeah, dexterity as well. Like,
Yeah, and they've got dexterity. So, you know, if you give me a gorilla against a grizzly bear, but the gorilla has a gun,
yeah.
I'm picking the gorilla.
Well, like, if you give me anything against the grizzly bear and the opposite animal has a gun, then I'm going to probably go with the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
American logic, guns trump people.
Yeah, they do. There's more guns than people in America as well. So,
and for good reason, I suppose.
yeah.
Then the next one is a very niche question that I purposely put in because we've argued long into the night on this topic, and I still don't know the correct way to ask the question so that you don't get smart answers.
I also don't really know the correct way to ask a question, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah. So you want to give it a go? Go. You chuck the question out there. And then
all right. So, and this can be a question for all your listeners, and I think they should.
It's crucial to all the Petey Performance listeners that they
think about this. Is this going to be on YouTube, or is it you're just going to post a wonderful picture of me on the gram?
Potentially both. We'll see.
Potentially. Well, in the comments, guys, we want to see some answers.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Say you are in an arena with I'd like that you've put sentient great white shark.
That was important to put in there.
It is very important. So, and there's 10 inches of water. So pretty soon the shark is going to die. However, 5 meters away from the shark, there is a button which the shark knows if they push this button, the arena will be filled with water and then you will be eaten. Well, no, we've not specified that you will be eaten, but it will be filled with water. What is your approach if you have, to stop the shark before you die? And I really don't know what the answer is here because sharks are really scary. Like a large great white shark, really scary. You'd probably aim to, put it on its side or its back and then just kick it in the belly, kick it in the gills that aren't doing anything in the 10 inches of water. They can't function in air. But yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I think a lot of your listeners should become. We should probably crowdsource an answer and then combine them all, and then 100%. Eventually we would probably have a working strategy because currently just kick a shark onto its side. Just pull on its tail, stop it from getting there. Easy.
Its tail's going to trash around though, and it's gonna. It's good. Its tail could break your arm, couldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Easy.
No, that was a very sarcastic answer.
Oh yes. But that was what was.
It's I remember
somebody did say that before. You grab onto.
Yeah, probably Ollie.
Yeah, that's who I was about to say. I didn't want to throw him under the bus again, but I'm pretty sure it's him. But it was probably
he'd probably say just get a gorilla in there. And...
you remember my feelings on the topic, and there's some scientific basis
was the question's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, well, my feelings was I would punch it square in the nose, and half of that is based off the Discovery Channel that you should punch a shark in its nose because it has nerves in its nose, but the majority of that answer was down to I don't think I'd ever get the opportunity to punch a shark in the face again, and if I've only 10 seconds to live and it's going to happen, I might as well punch it in the face first.
Might as well. If it works. See, my issue with punching a shark in the nose is that the nose is very close to where its teeth are. And if you miss, then your arm is gone.
Yeah, but you're just prolonging the inevitable anyway.
Yeah, true.
The gills is probably a good route to go with, but I'm sure I'll have certain Mr. Trotman on and he'll give me his full feelings on the topic eventually. I just wanted to chuck out then a few quick fire questions then to finish.
Awesome.
First one was favorite submission.
I quite like guillotines at the moment,
Cool.
but it
Cool.
changes.
Yeah. Submission that you struggle the most with fending off. Just for anybody that will listen to this.
I have a fight coming up. So,
yeah, okay, you can't answer that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Toe holds.
you could have threw him into a trap there as well if you were really smart.
Yeah, maybe I did.
Oh, here he goes. Artist you've been listening to a lot recently.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, never changes really. Is it playing in the gym very frequently?
No, I just play it on my headphones. I don't get to the gym first, so I don't get to choose the music. So often it's bad.
Is that a dig? That's a dig at Henry, is it?
No, Henry has Henry picks some good.
He's a full tunage, 80s, 70s rock music. You always know if you're not in the gym, it's like you know who's been in first based off what's playing. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
good.
Then we'll go books you've been reading recently.
So I have just finished on Audible Barack Obama's book. And if you can Audible that, it's read by Barack Obama, so you get to hear the wonderful voice of Barack Obama a lot of times.
Very meditative as well, I'm sure.
Compared to more recent former US presidents, he does also sound very stately and like a man who should be leading the free world.
It is written, mate. He's reading it off a script. He's not coming up with it as he goes. Like,
wouldn't be surprised. I'm going
to write a book. I'm going to write a book. What are you going to be on? I'm just going to riff it. We'll see where it goes.
He didn't say that. He said, I'm going to speak a book.
Yeah, exactly.
And how to transcribe a ideal.
Yeah. So this one, I don't know what you're going to come out with here, but favorite obscure footballing moment.
Obscure footballing moment.
Yeah, one that people potentially mightn't think of when they think football, like something that or footballer. That was the other option.
So a really obscure footballing moment that I really enjoyed from when I was like 14, 15. It was the year that Liverpool won the Champions League, but were really shit. They were playing Arsenal. Yeah, 2005. So that season they played Arsenal in a match where Neil Mellor scored an absolute screamer to win it. But there's a moment in the match where a player called Florent Cinema Pongol.
Oh, what a player!
Has the ball at the touchline, and he's got Patrick Vieira behind him, and he sort of shimmies to fake one way, and then turns the other way. Patrick Vieira gets on his ass, and then like Andy Gray was on commentary. It was like they shouldn't let Patrick Vieira back in the ground till he buys a ticket. I was like, I like that.
There you go. Cinema Pongol and Neil Mellor. You dropped two huge obscure footballers into that story. Yeah. Huge. I remember Neil Mellor. Cinema Pongol had fallen out of my head. Yeah. I couldn't remember it. I'm so glad you brought him up. I'm gonna see if he has a highlight video after this.
It won't be a long one.
No, that moment.
Yeah.
Favorite rugby player?
I don't watch a lot of rugby, Pete. You know this.
I know that yourself. You watch it. You watch a bit. You watched bits of the World Cup just so you could take the piss out of me when Ireland were losing. Absolutely.
I have very recently discovered though Max Laheef's Instagram page.
I knew. He's right up your street.
Oh my God! What a man!
Oh,
what brilliant. A man! That if you just watch his cooking show.
Yeah.
It's called The Beef with Laheef.
Mate, it's so good with him voicing over in the background real quietly. Like, scratches.
The way he says spiced tomatoes. Yeah.
Mate, some of those dishes are top quality as well. Like
he's he looks to be a very serviceable chef.
Yeah.
Does it. And he's also an absolute unit.
He's a unit, man. Did you see the interview on the Friday night?
Yeah, the what? Yeah, that's what.
He's doing his neck isometrics and gets up from it to go into it, like, and he was in full flow. Like the interviewer didn't really say much at all. He was just trying to take it in, and then he was wetting himself at the end of it. Brilliant. But yeah, he's definitely a character. I've had people same as what you just said. I've had people messaging me that aren't necessarily into rugby, and they're like, "What's the story of this Max O'Heath lad? Like, is he the only character in rugby at the moment?" And I'm like, hey, whoa, don't be digging at the sport here now, but he's definitely up there with number one.
I think he's got a podcasting future in.
Yeah, he started one, I think, this week.
Has he?
There's no shortage of them out, or there is a shortage of them out there, so that's why we're putting this one out as well, I suppose.
Okay, that's good.
We don't want to run out of podcasts. What are people going to listen?
Yeah.
Last question then. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Very boring S&C based answer, but squats and pull-ups are more important than bench press. You fool.
Yeah, but you can't talk about them as much.
yeah, true. But I didn't realize that squatting wasn't bad for me until I was like 21.
And how's training going? How's your shoulder, to go off on a tangent before we finish?
Good. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Are you lifting frequently? Or because you have another fight coming up, so you're doing a lot of rolling?
My lifting is now very, very minimalist. So I'm doing
Bulgarians. That's all.
I'm doing ATG split squats, mate.
On the Bulgarian split squat.
No, just trying to get full depth, but on the floor. And then doing a lot of ring work for my upper body. But yeah, nothing special.
Nothing too special.
Yeah.
Cool beans, bro. Appreciate the chat. That was fantastic.
No, man, it's good to catch up.
Yeah, cool. I appreciate you being here. Thanks.
Yeah. Peace out.